what lies beyond it are shrouded in darkness. But in the darkness is your presence, and in the mystery your love. No mind can grasp the splendor of your being, no tongue express the majesty of your works. Yet there are times when we sense a reality that is beyond our mortal sight. May this Sabbath be such a time for us. Help us to hear your voice, to find your image in our souls, and to be at peace. And we read the next prayer together in Hebrew. Elohai neshama shenatata bi Torah ata barata ata yetzata ata nefachta bi ata shema bi kol zaman shema bi Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, ha'mehulal b'fil amo, v'yishubach v'mitfo'ar b'lshon chasidav v'avadah, b'shvachot u'b'zmirot, melgader lecha v'namlichecha malkeinu, yachid chei ha'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, melech ha'olam v'shvachot. To you the stars of morning sing, from you their radiance bright did spring, and steadfast in their vigils day and night, your angels, flooded with fervour, bring your praise. They teach the holy ones to bring into your house the breath of early light. The heavens declare the glory of God.
The sky proclaims God's handiwork.
Day unto day utters speech,
Night unto night teaches knowledge.
Yet there is no speech, there are no words.
Not a sound of them is heard.
And still their call goes out to all the earth.
And their message to the end of the world.
God's teaching is perfect.
Reviving the soul.
God's word is unfailing.
Making wise the simple.
God's precepts are right.
Delighting the mind.
God's commandments are clear.
Enlightening the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure.
Enduring forever.
God's guidance is true.
And altogether just.
They are more to be desired than gold, than any amount of fine gold.
Sweeter than honey from the honeycomb.
Your servant pays heed to them.
For heeding them much depends.
Who is aware of errors?
Let me therefore of unconscious sins.
Hold back your servant also from willful sins.
Let them not control me.
Then I shall be blameless.
Innocent of great transgression.
May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל, המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. We continue on page 135. 135.
mercy you divided the earth and all who live on it, and in your goodness you renew creation continually day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. We praise you, O God, creator of us.
Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching, make us faithful to your commandments, and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you, and proclaim your unity.
We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol moledecha, v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'eleh, asher Elohim tzavcha hayom al bavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'tidrata bam, v'shivtecha lebeitecha, v'lechtecha b'derech, v'shoftecha l'kunecha, v'shoftecha l'motoch v'hayu l'totok b'meinecha,
Leman tizkeru, v'atitem en kol mitzvotai, yitem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I must say the next prayer always reminds me of Claire Heller, because bless her, she used to read it, good and beautiful and true sound established, and right through, and you know, there are many ways for remembering those we loved, but this is particularly, and it's all of you who remember Claire, she was a wonderful personality. So, but let's read it our way, as it were. Good and beautiful and true, sound established and enduring as Israel now and forever. Truly eternal one, you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and our liberator, and as your God is you. Truly you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer as you. You redeemed us from Egypt, freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Aaron, and all Israel together after declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagidon Hamora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher HaSe'avot V'Imaot, U'Mevii Kula L'Bnei Bneihem, L'Man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach B'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Be'ezrat Sarah, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיים מתים אתה רב ופושע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים וחסד, החיים מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים מנתו שמי היפה. מי כמוך על גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך מלך מחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה חיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים.
We sanctify your name on earth. As in the prophet's vision, the hosts of heaven sang your praise above, for so it is written.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz ve'vodo.
Kavodo malei olam.
Baruch kavod Adonai, mimeomo.
ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך.
ימלוך Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, ve'lod ba'do, Hallelujah.
From generation to generation, we will make known your greatness. To the end of time, we will proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O our God, shall never depart from our lips. We praise you,
Eternal One, the Holy God.
Please be seated. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good.
ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת בכל עונג. המקדשני, המקדשני, כולם ישמחו וינקו מטובך.
Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the goodness of the Sabbath. R'tzeh Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam ba'ahavat kabel, u'tehile ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'orcha levadecha v'yirah na'od. Modim אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו וראה אבותינו לעולם ועד. סלע חיינו מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ומספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל משפטנו הבטוחה. ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל מצוותיך ותורתך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר צהריים. Baruch atah Adonai, atah teshuvah v'racham ha'el v'hodot. Grant peace, welfare, and blessing, grace, love, and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence. For by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness and righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, source of peace. Service, which is on page 223. If you turn to page 223, please. It was Joseph who pointed out to me that the prayer I want to start with is actually in Yiddish. I wondered why there weren't any vowels there. And then I tried to read it and got myself in a right old problem. So that explains it. But we'll do it in English and make life easier for ourselves. So at the bottom of page 223, to be a Jew means always to run to God, even when you want to flee. Means you're ready right now to hear, even if you are a skeptic, the blare of Messiah's call. To be a Jew means you never escape from God, however much you may want to. means you cannot stop your prayer even when the prayers are done, and even when the evens have been said. I'm going to read the meditation, but as I do, I'm sure that you will, each of you, follow it and discuss it in your minds as you go along. So, in some mysterious way, the ancient voice of Sinai still resonates in our souls, lending a sacred urgency to all our activities. We are held in thrall by the promise of a day which, like Moses on Mount Nebo, we know we shall never see, but which nevertheless suffuses all our ordinary days with significance. The day when human beings will finally acknowledge their Creator and live together in justice, love, and peace. The destiny of the Jews is bound up with the destiny of humanity. Like the Gulf Stream, which maintains its identity and influence while it forms an integral part of the sea, so the Jews maintain their distinctiveness while combining their life with the life of humanity. Such a life is different from that of any other group. It is confronted with special dangers. It has to bear a special burdens, but it has a special significance, a special value. It can prove that the human spirit is mighty, and that is the best evidence for the reality of God. The Jews of old taught the world to know God. The Jews of all ages can help the world to trust God. But by such a service, the Jews can maintain their own life and enrich the life of humanity. And let us say together, Eternal God of Israel and all humanity, you have called us to your service and summoned us to bear witness to you among the peoples of the earth. Give us grace to fulfill our tasks with zeal, tempered by wisdom, guided by our faith of others. May our bearing towards our neighbours, our faithfulness in every spirit of duty, our passion for justice, and our compassion for suffering show the truth of our faith, that you are the source of life and fountain of all goodness. Actually rather comforting, because we're not required to set the entire world to rights all by ourselves, but if we each play our part, then the world will get better. So there is hope. And we continue our service on page 481, page 481.
Oh
eternal one, together let us exalt God's name. And as you are aware, it's the last Shabbat of January, which means we have birthday blessings this morning. So anybody who was born in January, please come up for a blessing. Are any people born in January?
Any January?
January?
As well. You could wear it on your own.
Well, Pat, it's a great pleasure for me to wish you on behalf of all of us a very happy birthday. When is it?
When was it?
When was it? 30. And to wish you many long and healthy years with those who love and who love you, with your community, and with all your friends and family. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha. May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace.
Amen.
Especially those with raised arms.
Well, I tried not to make it too long. They never had to
I'm glad you're not taller.
It's a very interesting portion insofar it's one of the very few that's named after a person. And Jethro, as we know him in English, was the father-in-law of Moses. He was a Midianite priest, he was a wise man, and he was very impressed by what God had done for the Israelites, bringing them out. His daughter was married to Moses, but he also saw, being an experienced leader of his people, that Moses was overdoing it and getting himself into terrible trouble. Moses had a problem which many people in leadership have. He didn't know how to delegate. It's very difficult because leaders think they know best and only their way is the right way of doing it. But they're wrong. So Jethro pointed this out to Moses, and Moses was wise enough to take notice of what he said and pay attention. And so the Israelites continued through the desert with their usual complaints: not enough food, not enough water, we were better as slaves, where are we going, nobody tells us anything, the usual stuff. But eventually they find themselves getting into the desert near to Mount Sinai, and God calls Moses up and says, this is a very important time coming up. I have some things to say. But he makes rules about who can go on the mountain, how near they can come, and so on. Now, from the sublime to the ridiculous, some of you may well remember Cecil B. DeMille's 10 Commandments, yes? It was visually very, very interesting and very good. And this scene that is about to happen is total Cecil B. DeMille. Thunder, lightning, all sorts of rumblings on the mountain, drama. It's all very exciting. Whether one believes it was exactly like that or not is up to us. We are progressive Jews. But the important thing is that what happens absolutely next is that God does give the Ten Commandments, which are the basis of, well, certainly the second half of them are the basis of decent human behaviour, and all religions have something of that order. Basically, how to get on with each other. And I think our leaders could take a good lesson from them at this very moment. So I will be reading from Exodus chapter 19, verses 16 to 25. You'll find it in the Soncino on page 455, and the JK says a Tanakh.
104.
Thank you.
Oh.
104.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher b'chabanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai notei ha'torah.
On the third day, as morning dawned, there was thunder and lightning and a dense cloud upon the mountain, and a very loud blast of the horn, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. Moses led the people out of the camp toward God, and they took their places at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was all in smoke, for the Lord had come down upon it in fire. The smoke rose like the smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled violently. The blare of the horn grew louder and louder. And as Moses spoke, God answered him in thunder. The Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. The Lord said to Moses, "Go down, warn the people not to break through to the Lord to gaze, lest many of them perish. The priests also who come near the Lord must stay pure, lest the Lord break out against them." But Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, 'Set bounds about the mountain and sanctify it.'" So the Lord said to him, "Go down and come back together with Aaron, but let not the priests or the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them." And Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. ויהי ביום השלישי, בהיות הבוקר, ויהי קולות וברקים וענן כבד על ההר, וקול שופר חזק מאוד. ויהרג כל העם אשר יתייצבו בתחתית ההר, והר סיני עשן כולו מפני אשר ירד עליו אדוני באש. ויעל עשנו כעשן הכבשן, וירד כל ההר מאוד. ויהי קול השופר הולך וחזק מאוד. משה ידבר והאלוהים יעננו בקול. וירד אדוני על הר סיני אל ראש ההר, ויקרא אדוני למשה אל ראש ההר. ויעל משה ויאמר אדוני אל משה, רד העד בעם, אל אדוני. רד העד בעם, פן יחרסו אל אדוני לראות, ונפל ממנו רב. וגם הכהנים הנקדשים אל אדוני, ויתקדשו, פן יפרוץ בהם אדוני. ויאמר משה אל אדוני, הגבל את... Mr. Line. Easy enough. לא יוכל העם לעלות אל הר סיני, כי אתה הודעת בנו לאמור. הגבל את ההר וקידשתו. ויאמרו אליו אדוני, לך רד ועלות אתה ואהרון עמך. והכהנים והעם אל יהרסו לעולה אל אדוני, פן יפרץ בם. ויורד משה אל הר סיני, אל העם, ויאמר עליהם.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם אתה בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
The Haftarah this morning is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 1 and onwards. It can be found in the JPSA Tanakh on page 707. Not that book, sorry. Daniel, will you get the JPSA?
Of course.
Page 707. This was dropped on me at the last minute, so I had no time to prepare my normal words of wisdom. Those who know me know that I do not prepare words of wisdom in any case. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher בחר בנביאים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו, בישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. Page 707. But now, thus said the Lord, who created you, O Jacob? Who formed you, O Israel? Fear not, for I will redeem you. I have singled you out by name, you are mine. When you pass through water, I will be with you. Through streams, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be scorched. Through flame, it shall not burn you. For I, the Lord, am your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Saviour. I give Egypt as a ransom for you, Nubia and Saba in exchange for you. Because you are precious to me and honored, and I love you, I give men in exchange for you and peoples in your stead. Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your folk from the east, will gather you out of the west. I will say to the north, give back, and to the south, do not withhold. Bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the end of the earth. All who are linked to my name, whom I have created, formed and made for my glory, setting free that people, blind though it has eyes, and deaf though it has ears. All the nations assemble as one, the peoples gather. Who among them declared this, foretold to us the things that have happened? Let them produce their witnesses and be vindicated, that men, hearing them, may say, it is true, and my witnesses are you, declares the Lord, my servant, whom I have chosen, to the end that you may take thought and believe in me, and understand that I am he. Before me no God was formed, and after me none shall exist. None me, the Lord. Beside me none can grant triumph. I alone foretold the triumph, and I brought it to pass. I announced it, and no strange God was among you, so you are my witnesses, declares the Lord. And I am God. Ever since day was, I am he. None can deliver from my hand. When I act, who can reverse it? Thus said the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. For your sake I send to Babylon. I will bring down all her baths, and the Chaldeans shall raise their voice in lamentation. I am your Holy One, the Lord, your King, the Creator of Israel. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתתם לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
We seem to have got ourselves into a new custom, which I rather like, and that is for members of the community to read these three important prayers. So I wonder whether, Alan, you would read the first prayer for us, just where you are.
Yeah.
In page 484.
Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth and all the royal family, for those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Amen.
Thank you. Pat, as it was your birthday this month, would you read the next one for us, please?
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us, and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness your truth and do your will.
Amen.
Thank you. Daniel, would you read the prayer for Israel, please?
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the words of God from Jerusalem.
We continue in the middle of page 406. V'hallelu et Shem Adonai ki neskaf shemo levato. God's teaching is perfect,
reviving the soul,
God's word is unfailing,
making wise the simple,
God's precepts are right,
delighting the mind,
God's commandments are clear,
enlightening the eyes,
God's doctrine is pure,
enduring forever,
God's guidance is true,
and altogether just.
Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Help us to return to you, O God. Then we shall return. Renew our days as in the past.
Century sage, Holly, was walking along the road one day when he met an old man planting a carob tree. "How long will it take this tree to bear fruit?" he asked. "About 70 years, the old man replied. The sage looked surprised. "Do you think you will live long enough to eat the fruit of the tree?" "Oh no," he said. "But when I was born, I found carob trees planted by my ancestors. And just as they planted for me, I am planting for future generations." Earlier this week, we celebrated the festival of Tu B'Shvat, the New Year for trees. In Judaism, trees have always been held in high regard. Indeed, the Bible is full of references to trees and how we should treat them. The Torah itself is called the Tree of Life. And ancient Talmudic scholars recognized that we owe our very existence to the trees. So with so many positive references to trees, you would think, would you not, that Tu B'Shvat would be one of our major festivals. But it isn't. In fact, it doesn't come anywhere near the top of the Jewish festival leaderboard. But that said, the life cycle of trees mirrors closely the human experience and provides us with some important lessons about life, life in general, and our lives in particular. And I have chosen 3 examples. The first has to do with letting go of things that we no longer need or want. In autumn, trees start to shed their leaves. It's what trees do. Trees don't spend weeks agonising over which leaves to shed and which to hang on to in the event that there just might be a very cold winter. No. They shed all their leaves so that there will be room for new ones in spring. Trees, therefore, teach us that shedding dead leaves, shedding old leaves, is both a healthy and a necessary thing to do. After all, everything has a limited lifespan. Take your mobile phone, your washing machine, the shoes that you're wearing, even the robin in your garden. None of these are made to last. And yet, unlike trees, which are perfectly happy to shed their old leaves, we hang on to things that are way past their sell-by date, and then complete suffering from piles. Piles of paper, and piles of you have to keep with it, and piles of stuff cluttering our home. You know, clutter takes up more than just physical space. It also takes up our energy. I wonder how often you look at stuff, maybe stuff that's cluttering up your shelves, your wardrobe, stuff on top of the wardrobe or garage, and think to yourself, I really must have a good old clear out. But what do? Instead of getting on with the job, we find all sorts of excuses to avoid doing it. And this in itself takes energy. But one way to deal with clutter is to see it as an opportunity to do a mitzvah. For example, a suit that you no longer fit into, and probably never will, could help someone land a job at interview. Books you don't read anymore could enhance a school library or college. And stuff that's at the back of your kitchen cupboards might be a godsend to someone setting up home. Or indeed a charity working with homeless people. So making our home more of a clutter-free zone not only reduces our stress, but it gives us space to breathe. And it can also make a real difference to someone else's life. So with spring just around the corner, now is the perfect time to shed those old leaves. Trees also teach us about the importance of cultivating healthy relationships. Trees, as we know, need rainwater to nourish their roots so that they can grow strong and tall. Without water, they would simply wither and die. And yes, we too need water, but not just the 2 litres that we're meant to drink every day to keep our body hydrated. We also need water to hydrate and nourish our inner spiritual roots. And in Hebrew, this kind of water is called mayim chayim, or living water. Like the trees, which my dear friend Hannah has a name for both these kinds of people. She calls them drains and radiators. Drains are people whose negative energy drags you down. They're the sort of people, you may well know them, who love to complain about everything and everyone. They love to find fault or tell you how awful their life is without ever actually doing anything about it. Radiators, on the other hand, they're the people who give off a warm glow. They're the people who inspire us, they energize us, and they give us that feel-good factor. To grow as individuals we need to cultivate relationships with the radiators of this world. As well as cultivating healthy relationships and letting go of things we no longer need, trees also teach us about being open to new things and letting our dreams bear fruit. This is the time of year when the life juice in the tree begins to flow again to revitalise the tree. Soon we'll be seeing new shoots and blossoms. It's just how nature works. Can you just imagine a tree standing there thinking, I won't grow new shoots this year, they may not be any good. Or, I don't deserve to blossom. Now, I know that might sound silly, but these are just the sort of limiting beliefs that we carry around with us, which stop us from trying something new or doing something that would really make our hearts sing. For the last 10 years, I've been walking around saying, I'd love to play drums in a band. Did I ever do anything about it? No, I did not. That is, until last year, when I got so fed up of saying the same thing, I finally signed up for drumming lessons. And a few weeks ago, I joined a local community band. I now have to read sheet music, and yes, it's challenging, and at times I feel way out of my comfort zone. But I have to tell you, it's also great fun, and I wonder why it took me so long. Maybe you too have a dream waiting to be expressed. If so, what's holding you back? All too often, what holds us back is that we let fear and guilt get in the way. Any of these ring bells for you? So, like the trees, we need to let our dreams bear fruit. Tu B'Shvat may be considered a minor festival in the Jewish calendar, but its message of letting go, of spending time with people who make us feel good and living our dreams, this applies to all of us. So go on. This is the start of a new year, so shed your old leaves, cultivate healthy relationships, and let your dreams bear fruit. Because in that way, we can all grow strong and tall, just like the trees. Happy New Year.
Amen.
Before they knew, let's turn to page 607 for the special prayer of healing as we hold in our minds members of our community who at present are not enjoying good health. That's page 607. Eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and for the healing powers that you have implanted within your creatures. Sustain, we pray, our loved ones through this time of illness. Is there anyone you would like to mention who is in need of healing right now?
I'm thinking of Joy. Yes.
Joy. Yes.
Mary Duncan. Mary Duncan.
Mary Vulcan. Anyone else you'd like to mention? Grant those we have mentioned and those we hold in our hearts courage and strength to endure pain and weakness. Teach us how best to help them by our love and care for them and by our own composure. May all who are ill know that you are with them, comforting them and reinforcing their will to get well. May their afflictions soon be ended and may they return in health to family and friends. And then together let us say, Amen. Amen. And we continue now with the Aleinu on page 520. Please stand. Aleinu l'shavea l'adon ha'kol, v'atei k'du'ah li'oseh bereshit, asher sam chalkeinu v'yached et shemo, v'goraleinu l'hamid malchuto. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might. Before God's banish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to defend the world by bringing under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon in our hearts forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity may we reign in glory, as it is written, yet the eternal one shall reign forever and ever. As we worship before you, O God, we think of those who once shared with us the joys and burdens of life and who are no longer in our midst. The sorrow of bereavement is softened by the bond of love, which continues to unite us with our dear ones, and by our cherished memories of them, which we will always carry in our hearts. May all that was good in their lives remain with us as an influence for good. And this week, we remember the lives of Michael Behrman, Peter Bloomberg, Annie Krimgods, Rodney Kuna, Lily Lyons, Ralph Morrison, Bunty Phillips, Aunt of Lindsay, Evka Sharon, your Aunt Hannah. And to you both, Lindsay and Hannah, we wish you long life and good health. O God, grant consolation to those who are in sorrow and light to those in darkness. Teach us at all times to put our trust in you and to praise your name. So for those who have the outside today, and for those who have no one to say Kaddish for, we say together. Yet Gadash Yitadash Merabah, Yamad Yivach Yitei Yamid Malkutei, V'hayachon V'yomechon, V'chai Chol Beit Yisrael, V'galav Yisman Karev V'imru Amen, Yehei Shmei Haram Yitvarach Yisharach Yitvarach 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 Yitadal 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 Shmei Yudishah B'rechu, Ve'elam Mikol B'chasa Yishirasa, Tush B'chasa V'nechamata, V'yamad V'yamad V'imru Amen. Say Shalom V'Shalom, V'chaim Aleim Yachol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Say Shalom V'Rabav, V'yaseh Shalom, Aleim Yachol Yisrael, V'yachol B'nei V'imru Amen. Please be seated. Our concluding song is Adon Olam, and I left it to Joseph to choose his favourite. He never did. Service with a closing blessing on page 530, number 7. Please stand. Eternal God, be with us as you were with our ancestors. Never leave us or forsake us. Incline our hearts towards you and lead us in your ways. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. First of all, let me say thank you to both Hannah and Esther. Thank you so much. What's nice to know is that if our radiators pack up again, like they did for about a
Oh,
month,
yeah.
we have a radiator here. Next week, the morning Shabbat is going to be led by the Solomons, the very able Solomons. So be here or be square.
Contemplative service Friday.
Oh, and there's Esther will be leading a contemplative service this Friday night here. Okay.
Yes, more spiritual now.
And in a couple of weeks' time, there will be a Friday night at the Zatz's. So if you're interested in going, you need to either contact the office or
myself.
Okay. And one more announcement.
Yeah. Hi, I just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow is Holocaust Memorial Day, and Brent Civic Centre and Harrow Civic Centre are both doing separate commemoration services. Check it out online, exactly where and when, if you're interested.
Harrow is practically.
Is it?
Mondays.
Harrow is Monday.
Normally Monday.
But you guys obviously know much more than I do.
It's on a
I
Monday.
did watch that.
Brent's on a Monday.
I think
I
Brent's
think what
is
this is-
Thursday.
It's Monday, yeah.
So much more.
Debate's on Monday.
Yeah, I thought they did theirs on Thursday.
I want to welcome you here.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you
Had it ready this morning to just come to the bus and casting.
I always check.
Yeah, it's a lot of
You look on our website, it says when it is.
When it is, okay.
You might have run she's downstairs.
My name is Irene.
Hello, I'm Lindsay. Hayao.
Yes.
That's interesting. Where's it from?
India with a boy born on Thursday. She was born on Friday, so she said,
Is that institutional to name children?
the day they were born.
So there are lots of children with the same name?
Yes.
Well, welcome anyway. And there will be a kitchen to share the food and drink downstairs in a little while.
And I think the poets told
Like those.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, my name is Irene.
Amazing children.
yeah, I was going to do that. Yeah, I think so. It's really sweet.
He wants to get his
Thank you, everybody. That's locked.
Okay, Adrian, for the service at Zax's, for the service at Zax's, would you be able to be usually when they come from
Thank you.
Just say hello.
Hello. Thank you.
Do you have finish downstairs?
Yeah, that's fine. It's you only need to how much from the house and would you like to stay yeah, Gwen's been
Yes, Irene.
and she'll do her own little bit. It's usually a bit so don't worry. What happened last time, the thing we went through it and we just discussed some of the points. If you feel there's anything in there,
Thank you.
talk to now on that. And then we need to finish, need the wine, the glasses, candles,
Bye-bye.
and Colin as well.
Alright, we'll be downstairs.
Yes, downstairs and we'll have a drop of wine or whatever.
They go, once it's smoothing, then it'll be that, it's normally, we cleared it up and about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock start.
So you've got spare then?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to a lot of chocolate and cakes, and it's uniform, so you want to make it clear that it's not Well, we said if you want to stick the prayer.
Are they done?
do it.
Well done.
I've no idea.
Thank you very
Or
much.
do you think there's a song you
We
particularly
just normally arrange half parts.
I think if they're not written,
I think on the I can remind you.
Yeah, we're not staying. So
We can work it out. I think before, once it's in 2 weeks' time, it'll be service 4.
oh yes, yes.
Yeah, that is there's nothing major. So you're okay with that? And I'll see, I'm looking at everyone coming, it all depends on about what's
Okay, so we've got four we've got four
And you've got Gwendolyn the singer as well. And Esther. I mean, Hannah got about 10 and the Cohen's got 8, so that's, I think you'll probably get something like that.
Yeah, I think that's very nice.
I think, I don't know if you want to do it, but if you want to do an album in a month, then let's do it.
Stay where they are.
Because it's the new one for the dark. Will be on, I think, Tuesday. How many that go? It starts on, exactly, I think we should do it. So it starts on Tuesday.
It was all good. Very good. So, wonderful. Congratulations. It was one of your, all good, but that was one of the best. Very inspirational, that really was. The fact that I stayed away is always a bonus.
Well done. Hang on.
Yeah, I think check.
They're ready downstairs.
Please come downstairs, they're ready. Thank you very much for the music.
Yeah, but
You carry on.
Lovely music, thank you.
Okay, down a minute. Don't wait for it. Right.
The way that you mixed very well.
That's
yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what else can I just say? Then the end for Elena, which part's gone? Sing, which could you sing?
So we could, I could just sing it all, you know, Alin och Shabeka och hon har på tingen se precis som det kunde hela själva och det var bara nog går vi och sagt den vi ska köra hon till själva in det så där
Right, people join in.
Yeah.
Say, Joe, you have to sing all of them.
yeah, nice.
How's that?
Good.
Good.
Like it.
Thank you for the line. Right. Okay, and then I just
Yeah, and we'll sing the end bit. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. Probably.
Yeah.
There should be anything else, Joe. I've got your email.
Yeah.
I'll email you.
Yeah, fine.
Lovely.
All right, lovely.
Thanks
Look
very
forward
much.
to it.
Thank you.
Got to go through stuff with Esther afterwards. She wants a new tune. So. Oh right. So. Good.
Let's turn these lights up. Is this your jumper or something?
Yeah, leave it for the moment.
Okay.
I'll come back in a second.
Okay, thanks very much.